Hello and welcome back to Studio Session. I'm Catherine and thank you so much for tuning in to another episode. Getting started with today's report. For reading, I'm still reading The Secret History. I just started it. The chapters are kind of long, so it's harder for me to kind of just breeze through the book, but solid so far. For eating, now a couple episodes ago I mentioned that the blueberries I'd been eating were gross, but I would just like to say that the other day I had some and they were actually good. I think that blueberry season is starting soon because they were actually good. So that's great. For playing, I've been loving Evermore by Taylor Swift, the album. It's just so good. I used to really underappreciate this album, but as I listen to it more and more, it's definitely climbing towards the top of my Taylor Swift album ranking. It might be number 2 right now, followed by, I think Speak Now is my number 3, and Folklore is definitely my number 1. For obsessing, I have been loving the color navy blue. I think that it looks so great, especially in clothing. I think it pairs so well with gold jewelry, which I also love. Just love the color navy blue. For recommending, now I know that since midterms are over, a lot of especially seniors are thinking, oh, I think my grades don't really matter. I'm already kind of getting accepted into colleges. But I'm just recommending that you just don't give up in second semester. Obviously, it's okay to maybe not try as hard, but still put some effort in. Colleges do look at your grades, and if you want to get exempt seniors, you do need an A in these classes to get exempt from the finals. So just keep it going. And for treating, honestly, I could not think of anything I really have treated myself to recently when it comes to purchases. I've just been really trying to save money. So that's it for today's report, and let's jump into our main segment. I am joined with Lucas for our main segment, and today's album review is Fufillingness First Finale by Stevie Wonder. This is an R&B/soul album, and it was released in 1974. This is one I had not listened to previously, but I'm really glad that we got to do it because I really liked it. My favorite song on the album was They Won't Go When I Go, and usually when it comes to my favorite songs and albums, I tend to gravitate towards the more like upbeat ones. I feel like this is a common theme on this podcast. I always kind of like the more jazzy tunes, but the second that this song started playing, I just knew it was going to be my favorite. There's a beautiful piano intro. The vocals are just stunning, and it's different from anything else in the album, in my opinion. It kind of has a more like sadder and soulful kind of vibe, and I just loved it. I adored the song so much. As much as I love upbeat songs, this just kind of stuck out to me as emotional, and I knew it was my favorite the second it started playing, and I really, really love They Won't Go When I Go. I gave it a 9 out of 10. Amazing song.
Yeah, I like They Won't Go When I Go too. Definitely a very soulful track like some of the other ones on this collection of songs. For my most favorite song, I chose Boogie On Reggae Woman. One of the most popular from this album, and for good reason. It's got that upbeat nature that you see in some of Stevie Wonder's best works, and it's got humble but still amplified synths in the background that really complement the vocals. Just an overall great piece of soul, and I believe it's my most favorite on this album.
I also love this track, which is why I actually chose it for my second favorite. It's very different from They Won't Go When I Go. Like Lucas said, it's definitely more upbeat. You could really kind of feel like the soul aspect in it. So Boogie On Reggae Woman is my number 2. You can just really hear his passion for singing in this song, I think. It's catchy, it's upbeat. I loved this song so much.
For my second most favorite song on this album, I selected Smile Please, which is the opening track, because I really like the background. Similar to Boogie on Reggae Woman, the background is a great compliment to Stevie Wonder's voice. Just an immaculate track all around, and there is a Christmas reference in the song, which is great because we know Stevie Wonder has a couple Christmas hits himself, so it's good to see that, and this is a great way to open the album. Akin to, as I mentioned, like Wanna Be Starting Something. Some of the best openers of our collection of albums we've done so far on this podcast. So I'm going to say Smile Please is my second most favorite song on this album.
Okay, so my least favorite song on this album, I gave it to Too Shy to Say. And again, I didn't really dislike this song. This seems to be kind of a common theme. A lot of the times my least favorite isn't a song I dislike. I just noted that this song wasn't as exciting as some of the others to me. It just kind of blended in. When I was like going back and like looking at all the tracks I had listened to, it wasn't memorable, which is why it was my least favorite. Again, not bad. I think just because it's a little more like sullen and calmer. I just didn't really remember it as much. So Too Shy to Say was my least favorite.
For my least favorite, I selected It Ain't No Use, which is the last track. Or actually, excuse me, I have an error in my notes. Towards the middle of the album, but again, I have nothing bad to say about this song, similar to what Catherine just said. I feel like this is a great collection of work, and along the same lines of, I know I already referenced Thriller, but just those end songs where you're like, okay, you've got that great stretch of music, and then this song isn't as good, but that doesn't mean that it's not a good song. I still believe this is a good song. I just didn't, like Catherine said, it wasn't memorable. I'm not coming away talking about, oh, It Ain't No Use is such a great song. So I'm going to say that it's my least favorite on this album.
Okay, and finally for our underrated picks, I actually chose two. I couldn't really decide between these two, so I just have two shout outs for songs I think are underrated. First is Smile Please, which I know Lucas already mentioned. I just thought this was a great start to the album. It starts with a kind of a positive, upbeat vibe. I liked the lyrics, so loved Smile Please. And then my other honorable mention for underrated was Creepin'. When I first kind of played the song, I was like, okay, I figured it might be more of like a middle of the road song for me. But as I kept listening to it, it kind of grew on me. And then I found it stuck in my head after, which is always an indication of a good song. Even though it's not my all-time favorite, I think it's definitely underrated.
I had two selections as well for underrated, one of which was also the runner-up for my second most favorite, and that would be Bird of Beauty. I love the female vocals. This is just a very complimentary track on a very complimentary album. I love the line, "There is so much in life for you to feel, unfound in white, red, or yellow pills." I really like that line, and that's my runner-up for underrated. And then my winner for most underrated on this album is You Haven't Done Nothing, because it was very Superstition-esque. For all my Stevie Wonder fans out there, you don't even have to be a Stevie Wonder fan. Superstition is one of the most recognizable of his songs, and I got a lot of those same vibes in this track, so I'm saying You Haven't Done Nothing is my most underrated song on this album.
That is a great song, definitely very unique. Okay, so for my overall album rating, I gave this album a 8.5 out of 10. I noted it's an amazing album. I really should have listened to this sooner. I'm surprised I didn't really know any of these songs before. It has an amazing opener, an amazing closer, solid songs all the way through. Stevie Wonder is just great, and I'm definitely going to start looking into more of his music because I really love this album.
What a great album. I gave him the benefit of the extra half point for a 9 out of 10 as my overall rating. This is a great album. Although it might not be his best, which is saying something about his impeccable discography, I really appreciate this album. Nice, and it's not very long. I know some of his other albums, like Songs in the Key of Life, are about an hour and 40 minutes long. That's a pretty long listen. But this is nice and compact. It's got a lot of good tracks, a lot of good... It's a piece of art, honestly. And I really appreciate this album, and I'm saying it's a 9 out of 10. One of the best that we've reviewed this year.
I definitely agree. This is one of my favorites that we've reviewed so far. That's it for this segment, and let's jump into our next one. Okay, for our next segment today, we have a game of song association. We've played this, I believe, once before on the podcast. So just for a little refresher, we have a list of words, and we're just going to say the word, and then the other person has to say, they can either say the title or sing the first song that comes to mind when you hear the word. So let's just jump right into it. My first word is moment.
Okay, well, I know that this is like bait. I was thinking of The Moment by Tame Impala, but I'm going to switch my answer to Heat of the Moment by Asia. Great old song, not really that old, but an 80s song, an 80s classic. Heat of the Moment, recognizable. Everyone loves that song. My word is green.
Green. For some reason, the first thing that popped in my head was Purple Rain, which is just completely wrong. Green. Because now I'm thinking of Green Day, and I don't even know any Green Day songs. I don't think that's just what I thought of. Green. Oh my gosh. Have you heard that one song it's like, I know it from TikTok. I don't know if you know it from like Instagram Reels, but it's this really annoying song, and it's like green, green grass.
I do not know that song.
It's this really annoying song, and I think it's called Green Green Grass. I don't know, but it's just not a very good song. But it's like green green grass. something in the sky. It's not a good song, but that is what I think of. I will Google really quick what it is called. Yeah, but green, green grass is what I'm thinking of. My next word is music.
All right, music. I'm gonna go with, this is tough. I can't really think of any songs. I want to go Boogie on Reggae 1, but I want to be different. I'm gonna go with another Stevie Wonder song. I'm gonna go with "Love's in Need of Love Today." That would be the first track on Songs in the Key of Life, like we talked about. Just when I think of music, I think of great songs, and that is a great song. Pretty long, and it's just nice and soulful. Sampled by Jay-Z on his album 444 as well. All right, do you have the verdict on that song?
Yeah, so the song I was thinking of is called Green Green Grass by a guy named George Ezra. Sorry, George, I really don't like this song. I think it's annoying. And I think it was kind of like memed on social media, and for good reason, because it's just not very good.
Well, you heard it here first. George Ezra is not getting much listening on this podcast. My next word for you is number.
Number. So when I think of number, I thought of phone number. So I thought of the song, the 8675309. I think it's called like Jenny, or like Jenny's number. I don't know, but that is a phone number. So that is what I thought of. So that's what I'm going with. Okay, my next word is fall.
Okay, I have this lyric in my head, but I can't quite attribute it to a song. Fall. I'm gonna go with a song I've been listening to a lot recently, and that would be Matches by Mac Miller featuring Ab-Soul. This is a song about just childhood, and it's comparing it to a match, as in a match is on fire for a little bit and then it goes out. That's kind of like childhood, and that's what the two are explaining on this track. I feel like it's the same way with the seasons, the changing of the seasons, and fall is the most changing season in my opinion. When you're getting from summer to winter, it's that great transitional month. All the leaves are falling. So I'm going to go with Matches by Mac Miller, rest in peace, and Ab-Soul for my associated song. My next word is flashy.
Flashy? Okay, I thought of Flashing Lights by Kanye West, which I'm not a Kanye West fan, but it's like flashing lights. That's what I thought of. I know it's not flashy, but I can't think of a song right off the top of my head that has flashy in it. I don't know if this was like bait for some kind of song, but I can't think of flashy. But Flashing Lights is what I thought of.
I just write words on paper.
Okay, my next word is cold.
Cold. All right, I'm gonna go with the song "Baby It's Cold Outside." There's a lot of people have written it. I know we're past Christmas now. We're well past. It's about 4 weeks since Christmas. But that's honestly the first thing that came to mind. Banger, hoot and a holler of a song we all love. "Baby It's Cold Outside." Some more than others, not me. My next word is delectable.
Delectable. I cannot think of a single song that has the word delectable in it. So I'm just gonna think of like something that is delectable. I'm gonna go with Sugar by Maroon 5. I also hate this song. I guess I'm just really going off about songs I don't like, but I mean, Sugar is delectable. I do not like this song. Shout out to my brother, who's definitely not listening to this podcast, but when he was younger, he had maybe a total of like 5 songs downloaded on Apple Music, and Sugar by Maroon 5 was one of them, and he would just play these same songs over and over again on full volume in the living room where everyone, was passing by. So the amount of times I heard this song in such a short span of time was insane, and now I'm like scarred for life over Sugar by Maroon 5. I do like their music video where they like crash people's weddings though. That is fun. But yeah, sorry, Maroon 5. Okay, my final word today is you.
All right, this is tough. I'm trying to think of like the full word, but honestly, I'm gonna have to just cut it down to the song "You" by Kendrick Lamar. Just the letter U, not the full word. This is a very interesting track. A lot of yelling on a great album, tells a story, and it's about suffering within self almost. It's a great appendage to Pimp a Butterfly. I definitely appreciate this track. My final word is wonder.
Obviously, this is a tribute to Stevie Wonder, who we just reviewed, but the first song that came into my mind was Wonder by Shawn Mendes. This song, I wouldn't say I hate it, so we're not just going with songs I hate today. But yeah, Wonder by Shawn Mendes. It's like, I wonder. I honestly don't even know lyrics, but I know it says Wonder. But yeah, Wonder by Shawn Mendes is what I thought of. Okay, that was it for our game of Song Association. Definitely a fun one that we'll be bringing back. And let's jump into our final segment of the day. Okay, so for our final segment of the day, we are going to be talking about upcoming releases and what to expect next. So right after we filmed our podcast that you heard on Wednesday, we found out that Tame Impala was surprise dropping a song with Justice. I'm not familiar with the artist Justice. Me and Lucas are just big Tame Impala fans, so when we found this, we were like, oh, we have to mention this on the next podcast. So we gave the song a listen. It's called One Night/All Night. And I liked the song. I gave it about a 7.5 out of 10. It had a cool beat, but the lyrics did kind of get a little bit repetitive. But I think Tame Impala really made this song. Sorry, Justice. I don't know who you are. You did good too, but Tame Impala definitely carried. And yeah, solid song.
So I'm going to give this track a 8.5 out of 10. Definitely a surprise. However, I had a bad moment with it. I saw on the release, obviously, we know Tame Impala is located in Australia, so the times are a little weird. And it said Western time, 10 a.m., or Pacific time, excuse me. And I read this and I was like, oh boy, this is coming out at 7 a.m. I was so hyped. I got up, waited till 7 a.m., and then I was just refreshing Apple Music, only to find out that I don't know how time zones work, and it was actually releasing at 1 p.m. So I listened to it in journalism last period, and great track. Definitely liked it. Tame Impala did carry. But yeah, definitely a great surprise for my week.
Okay. Lucas is going to talk about the new album coming out of his Benny the Butcher guy that I have no idea who he is, but we're going to cover this real quick.
All right, so you guys know me. You know I've had enough of the mumble rapping. I don't like these new guys. And Benny the Butcher does not fit that mold. He is, he's been dropping some singles for this album. It's called Everybody Can't Go. I've been long awaiting this album since he announced it a couple weeks ago. I'm definitely excited. Some fans are speculating that it is going to soundtrack a Netflix series coming out called Griselda, which is about I believe a Spanish drug lord by the same name, starring Sofia Vergara. So we'll be watching that one. Very excited for this track. One track I'm excited for is the Griselda Express. That's the name of their label, featuring West Side Gun. I'm definitely looking forward to this album. I will be staying up, and yeah, Everybody Can't Go by Benny the Butcher is what's coming out. Not really a lot of other stuff coming out. Obviously, we got the Tame Impala, but still a slow year this far for music, and I'm excited to see what Benny the Butcher cooks up.
I don't think I'll be listening to that, but to each their own. Okay, so as for what's next, our next episode is going to be our last January episode, and we are finishing our throwback month with News of the World by Queen. And then when we come back in February, we'll have a new theme, and yeah, we're gonna have a lot of fun. And thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.